Hsin begins today with what cannot be argued. You are. You cannot say you are not. He starts there. That you are is a certainty. What you are is to be looked at. The underlying ground, the underlying essence, is consciousness. When you look at people, when you look at the mountains or the oceans, when you do this, you must be conscious. You are conscious. You're conscious when you're asleep. You're conscious when you're awake. You can perceive objects. You can perceive movements and activities. When you dream, it's the same. It is within consciousness that all these images are projected. The consciousness that you are is what all the mental images appear on. Once you realize that whatever appears to you cannot be you, you are free of all your personas and their demands. The existence of the Supreme is indicated by the word I only. Through this Hsin vehicle, the Supreme is acting and working, using the form as an instrument. It is not a body that is speaking. There is a power that is inspiring this body, intellect and mind. In each one, the same thing is happening. But often it is said, I am speaking. There are no persons. There are only roles performed by animated bodies. There being absent any doer, whom would you have Hsin instruct? There is a singular obstacle. It is inattention. Your seeming bondage is by inadvertence only. One holds to a set of beliefs implanted by parents, peers, and society. However, these beliefs are like tying a rope around one's legs, in that they limit the distance that the intellect can travel. Hsin has declared that one is not a certain body, neither the body of the waking state, nor the body in the sleep state. Neither is one a personality, that being nothing else than a presentation that one makes of oneself at certain moments. A being that is bound or limited by time, space, or origins are all ways of thinking. It is not so. What will eventually die? Only a way of thinking, a way of viewing oneself and the world. One must continue until you ends with the experience which never changes, never comes and goes. It is the experience that you are. Effortless existence. It is prior to all psychological structures, before all discriminating processes. It is direct perception. Perception unmediated by the mind, undistorted by imagination. To describe is to assign names and attributes. How can you expect Hsin to describe that which has neither? Yet it is as undeniable as breathing. Being, it is as effortless as seeing. The unmanifest manifests, lingers for a time, and dissolves back into itself. Understand it to be the prime cause in every chain of causation. There is nothing Hsin can point to and say, I am this. He is nothing that my can attach itself to. He is neither my sandals, nor my robe, nor my body. As the sandals and robe are possessions of the body is the possession of the conscious life energy, which in turn is the possession of the Absolute. Whatever is held as myself disappears in time. Only that which was present at the beginning persists. What was born must die, but what was never born cannot die. For those with no background, techniques may have utility. But you have come here, and Hsin does not provide techniques. Those who use techniques never excel. Here, excelling, excellence, means never returning to what was. Discontent with the false necessarily impels one toward what is true. One begins to make cracks in the wall of their previously held certainties. Ultimately, the wall crumbles. Enlightenment has no address. It cannot be found in any body, in any personage. Yet the mind will be searched assiduously until it is understood that the answer cannot be found there. If you are existent, everything is existent. If you are non-existent, there is nothing existent. To know one's thoughts requires that one take a stand outside of thought. That this is possible proves that one is not one's thoughts, but the knowing of thoughts. Self-consciousness can never understand wholeness or unity, because it is the very nature of self-consciousness to divide. Wanting to be somebody works against being nobody. Cease personalizing. An event occurs. There is pain. However, the mind translates this into, I am in pain. There is cooking, not I am cooking. In this manner, life is a continuous stream of impersonal events. Mind is not required for existence. It is only required for imagination. the point when the words of Hsin are accepted as true and are lived spontaneously and in every aspect of daily life, is the gateway of realization. Cease to be the object to which things happen and become the subject on which all happens. This is sufficient. Hunger, thirst, crying, eating, sleeping just appear and disappear. There is only awareness of whatever presents itself to you. You are pure openness, without any divisions or ratings. There are no judgments, divisions, or projections. The standards imposed by culture, education, or religion are not yet in place. There is no reference point to whom all this happens. No decider, or thinker, or doer. There is only observing. Absence of any me and others. Absent of any past or future. And most relevant, absent of any problems. No lines of demarcation have been established. No points of beginning and ending. No sex. No nationality or identity. There are only the functional processes of breathing, digesting, eliminating, growing, and perceiving. How many versions of you have there been? Hundreds? Thousands? More? The measure of the real is a simple one. When you see other, you are imagining. You are not what you take yourself to be. You are nothing perceivable. You must find out what you are. It is not to be approached as an effort toward an acquisition. It is the discovery of what is already present. What effort is required to acquire what is already one's own? It is like talking about the attainment of space. Space is not attained. It ever is. Merely remove that which obscures the space, and the space is revealed. The notes are not separate from the music. What can you be separate from when you are everything? Identification with the body is common to all creatures. It is necessary for survival. It is only when one is no longer concerned with survival that one may transcend body identification. In humans, the urge for continuity, the drive to survive, is so pronounced that it skews perception. It does this by creating an individual against which every object must be evaluated. The person is not the knowing, rather an object of the knowing. In this which is subjective, there cannot be anything objective which could incur the process of disappearance or death. In one sense, there is an intense struggle that is ongoing within each of you here. On the one side is the attraction to appearances. Stated another way, it is the entrancement with the world. On the other side is the deep calling to abide as the essential self. The victory can only go to the strongest, and the strongest is determined by which of the two is better fed. One is not born with an identity. One's identity is acquired over time. Take this acquisition and set it down for a short time. It can always be retrieved again. Now, spend the balance of this day without this acquired identity, and notice what arises. That is all.